Most people spend their whole lives chasing the wrong definition of intelligence. They think being smart is about cramming facts, throwing around big words, or showing off a wall of certificates. But if that were true, why do we see so many educated people making disastrous choices? Why do people with sky-high IQs sometimes fall apart under the tiniest bit of pressure? Deep down, you already know something doesn't add up. You've seen it, you've felt it, and maybe you've even wondered, if being smart is about knowing so much, why do those who know keep failing where it actually matters? Here's the truth most people miss. Intelligence isn't about knowing more. It's about seeing differently. It's about thinking in ways the majority never even consider. And when you make a few key mental shifts, you don't just become smarter, you become dangerously effective. The kind of person who can walk into a room and shift the entire atmosphere without saying a word. Not by bragging, not by flexing, but by carrying a quiet strength people can't ignore. So today, I want to walk you through 5 shifts that don't just sharpen your mind, they change how you move through the world. Each one sounds simple, but when you practice them, you'll notice people treat you differently. You'll notice how much calmer and clearer you feel. And most importantly, you'll notice results. Let's start with the first one. Don't argue to win, ask to understand. Most people treat arguments like battles. They're trying to prove, dominate, shut down the other side. But notice how often those fights end in silence, not understanding. The so-called winner might feel victorious for a second, but nothing changes. Smart people don't waste their energy playing that game. They don't need to win. Instead, they lean in with curiosity. They ask questions like, what makes you feel that way? Or, what result are you hoping for? Instead of attacking, they open space. And when people feel safe, they reveal the truth. That's the trick. Real intelligence isn't about defeating someone, it's about understanding them. And understanding, not arguing, is what changes minds. Now here's the second shift. Stop obsessing over the moment, zoom out and see the system. Most people treat every setback like the end of the world. They stumble during a presentation and suddenly feel worthless. They get rejected once and swear off trying again. They miss one workout and start thinking they'll never be fit. But smart people don't call that failure, they call it feedback. They look at the bigger picture and ask, what pattern led to this? They see mistakes as data, not destiny. They zoom out far enough to realize nothing is final. Everything is part of a system. And when you treat life like a system, you learn faster. You grow stronger. You stop wasting time sulking because you're already busy tweaking the process for the next round. That's how you turn setbacks into set-ups. The third shift is one that separates the constantly drained from the constantly focused. Filter everything through one simple question. Is this in my control? Most people waste endless energy stressing over traffic, gossip, opinions, the news, or what strangers think. They try to bend reality around things they can't possibly change. And the more they fight, the more they burn out. But smart people conserve energy. They don't get sucked into the noise. They slice through chaos by asking, can I control this? If yes, they act. If no, they let it go. Simple. That's why they move with calm, steady energy when others are spiraling. That focus isn't magic, it's discipline. Not control over the world, but control over themselves. Fourth shift. Get comfortable with silence. Ever notice how awkward silence makes most people? They scramble to fill it with nervous chatter, forced jokes, random noise, anything to avoid sitting in quiet. But silence, when you learn to own it, becomes a weapon. Smart people don't rush to fill the air. They listen, they watch, they let the moment breathe. They let others reveal themselves while they sit steady. Because here's the secret. The one who talks least often knows the most. The less reactive you are, the more powerful you appear. Silence makes people lean in. It reveals truths loud people never notice. And most importantly, it keeps you in control. When you stop fearing silence, you start mastering presence. And now, the fifth shift. Don't react, observe. Think about it. Someone insults you and the average person snaps back instantly. Life throws a curveball and they panic before thinking. That's reaction. And while it's natural, it costs power. Smart people do something different. They pause, they breathe, they watch. And in that pause, something remarkable happens. They gain leverage. They see angles others miss. They collect clarity instead of confusion. Reacting is easy. Observing is strength. Because when you become the calm one in chaos, people remember you. You stand out. You become unforgettable. And here's the part most people never hear. You don't need a PhD to do this. You don't need to talk the loudest or even be the quickest learner in the room. What you need is discipline in how you think. Ask instead of argue. Zoom out instead of panic. Focus only on what's in your control. Embrace silence instead of fearing it. Observe before reacting. These aren't tricks. They're habits. And once you start practicing them, the world around you changes. Most people won't. They'll keep overreacting, scrambling, chasing noise, and draining themselves. But not you. If you're still here listening, it means something in you knows this is different. Something in you is hungry for more than surface-level intelligence. You want the kind of strength that doesn't need to shout, the kind of focus that cuts through the chaos, the kind of presence that turns heads without trying. That's real power, quiet power. And that's exactly what I want you to build here with me. So don't just scroll on like nothing happened. If this message woke something in you, show it. Like this video. Drop a comment below with the words, quiet power, so I know you're one of the few ready to step into that space. Subscribe and stick around because this is only the beginning of unlocking your real strength. Let the rest of the world chase noise. You're here to build silent strength, and that's a game changer.